Listen, I need assistance.
So don't your arms work?
They don't.
How much does it pay? Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. My bad, man. Think about what you're trying to do to me. Sound just like
It's uncanny.
some animals collapse in your face. Oh no, that's a beard. Talk to me.
I look like
A porn star.
The Upside, based on true story, rated PG-13.
And welcome to Time About the Movies, as we continue on with 2019, as we're just getting started with 2019. We have 2 weekends in particular to look at here, January 11th and January 18th, with 4 films to look at. 3 of them are mostly on the first weekend. The second weekend only has 1 big new film, and it is a big new film for anyone who's been long awaiting that sequel to Unbreakable. You get it here. Sort of. We'll touch on that a little bit later on here, but let's talk about the biggest new release of the first weekend we have here, and that is, of course, The Upside, starring Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston. And Bryan Cranston plays a disabled white billionaire who feels that life is not worth living. To help him in his day-to-day routine, he hires Dell, played by Kevin Hart, who's an African-American parolee, trying to reconnect with his estranged wife. What begins as a professional relationship develops into a friendship as Dell shows his grouchy charge that life is worth living. So this is a remake of a 2011 French comedy, The Untouchables, which was an unexpected hit in the States. And for the past decade, they've been trying to get an English remake of this off the ground. I mean, the most notable one being the one that was supposed to be with Robert De Niro and Chris Tucker and directed by David O. Russell, which would have been a reunion for the 3 of them after the Silver Linings Playbook. And there was also versions with Chris Rock, Jamie Foxx, Idris Elba, Colin Firth, Jessica Chastain, and Michelle Williams to star, along with Paul Feig, Simon Curtis, and even Tom Shady actually directed various points. So now we have Kevin Hart, Bryan Cranston, Nicole Kidman as its stars, and Neil Berger as its director, and the result is a competently made movie, albeit a very predictable and cliched little film. And that really is the biggest fault of the movie, and the fact that it's a been there, done there premise. You got a curmudgeon of a guy who has his life turned around when somebody shows him the way, shows him that life is indeed worth living. It's a premise that has been done to death countless times, and unfortunately the script for this doesn't do anything unique or different to make it stand on its own. It's a movie that only is existing solely on the performances to carry it through, and luckily it does. The performances overall are really good. Kevin Hart is really good in this, probably one of his best overall performances in general here. You know, Bryan Cranston, I mean, the guy is an acting legend. I mean, of course he's going to give a great performance. Nicole Kidman's really good too here. I like the fact that she wasn't just a pushover in this movie. She actually does contribute to the story here. They are the best elements of the movie that does make it worth watching in general. I wouldn't say this is a great movie by any means necessary, but considering it's STX Entertainment, and they do not usually make a lot of great stuff in particular, but nonetheless, this year they've got a couple good movies here. This one, especially their best movie coming up in September. We'll get to that later on, but The Upside is decent. It's a good movie. It comes in, does its job, and gets out. It's like The Bucket List, that movie with Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman. It's not a great movie, but it is a competently made film. It's not one I'm going to watch over and over again, but when it shows up on like TBS or FX in the next couple of years, I would say it's definitely worth a watch in general. Actually, now that I think about it, has it even aired on TBS or FX at this point? I think I said this back in my review because FX was the network to go to where you would play all the big new releases on there, but I don't even know if it's on if it has been on TBS, honestly, but nevertheless, it's a decent movie. Nothing too spectacular, nothing too amazing, but good enough to recommend it as a fun, comfort food movie, so there you go. So far, 2019 has been pretty good. We're 2 for 2 so far, which means that we're probably going to get a bad movie next up here, so let's see what that is. A Dog's Way Home.
There's one thing I know about the world. It's not the little things that matter. It's the tiny things.
Oh, do you want a tiny piece of cheese?
Yes, cheese is my life.
Oh yeah, this is the definition of a dumping ground January movie because, it looks, that alone is one of the schmaltziest things I've ever seen in my entire life, but that's only the beginning of this movie's, everything that's wrong with this movie. Now, I thought that, I said before that, A Dog's Purpose came out a couple years ago and was the big unexpected hit, so needless to say, you got 3 movies coming out in 2019 that are going to try to capitalize on that. And one of them is actually the sequel to The Dog's Purpose. That we'll get to in May, but the other one is The Art of Racing in the Rain in August. And this movie right here, this movie, if you remember the Double Toasted Rings review, The line that I think best describes this movie is that it's literally the whitest white thing that has ever whited. Like, if you watch this trailer, you realize that, yeah, this is the type of movie that is the whitest thing you could ever accept, the whitest shit possible. I mean, it's definitely that film. So in this movie, you have a dog named Bella, voiced by Bryce Dallas Howard, who travels more than 400 miles to find her owner. I mean, it's a story we've seen done to death before, and I'm sorry, Homeward Bound did this a whole lot better. This is the type of movie that is so schmaltzy, so gimmicky, and of course that means you saw the trailer for this on every single movie that was coming up months before this film came out. Like, I'm not even kidding you. This is another one of those trailers like Pitch Perfect 3 or I Feel Pretty, or we'll get to another movie later this year that has that type of a feeling, Breakthrough. A trailer that they just kept plastering on every single movie to make you say, no, we're going to force you to watch this movie whether you like it or not. And yeah, it's like I said before, it's the whitest white thing that's ever whited. And yeah, I know I'm repeating myself, but yeah, I'm repeating myself because the movie repeats itself too many times. This was bad, man. This is not a good movie. It's a boring mix of Homeward Bound, Marley and Me, and A Dog's Purpose all rolled into one, and it's just not a fun movie. Everything is played way too safe. It's meant to be the most inoffensive thing imaginable, and it's only existing to shut your kids up for an hour and a half, and for the adults to go like, oh, look at the cute little puppy. And yeah, the puppy's cute, but you know what? You need a story to convince us that this is worth it. Like, these characters are not interesting at all. The film's attempts at comedy and drama are terrible. The writing is terrible. The direction is bad. This feels like a bad Disney Channel Lifetime original movie blown up for the big screen. And the trailer is one of those trailers that pretty much spoils everything for you to begin with. So, did you see the trailer? You saw the movie. And yeah, it's a bad movie. It's a terrible, terrible film. Like, I hate this movie. I really hate this movie so much. I don't like it at all. Yeah, and yeah, it's easily the worst of these dog movies that we're gonna get this year. And yeah, this is the bottom of the barrel, folks. Just, I don't care if the dog is cute. Give me a story to go around with this dog. Not just showing off the dog just to cover up the fact that you made a shitty movie. Okay, so there you go. It took us a little bit, but we finally got to what January is all about. Dumping garbage out there. But then again, this next movie may not be that bad because we have reached the biggest Keanu Reeves star of the year. I mean, this right here is clearly the movie that everyone is going to see in 2019 that stars Keanu Reeves.
We are going to replicate the human mind. All functions, go. There was a crash. You and the kids died.
There is a reason human cloning is banned.
What if something goes wrong? Something already has.
Replicas, PG-13, will be in theaters January 11th.
Fooled you. It's a shitty January movie. Keanu Reeves, what the hell, man? I mean, I know you've made some bad movies, but this may easily be the worst thing he has ever been involved in. And trust me, that's saying a lot. He has made some bad movies, along with his great movies, but no, this movie is definitely up there with one of his worst movies, if not his worst. So, this is the story of a neuroscientist who violates the law and bioethics to bring his family back to life after they die in a car accident. He brings back the kids and his wife, played by Alice Eve. You also have Thomas Middleditch in here, and also John Ortiz, because, of course, he's in a movie like this. John Ortiz can't pick good movies. No. He's got to pick whatever garbage is handed to him, and yeah, this is definitely garbage. Yeah, this film is bad. I mean, this movie is the type of movie that has its head so far of its own ass that it's not even funny, man. Like, it thinks it's being smart and clever, but it's another Transcendence type of movie, or another Lucy film where it thinks it's much smarter than you are, and no, it's just as dumb as the audience that's going to pay to see those movies. This movie is awful, man. This is a terrible movie, and like I said, Keanu Reeves, I mean, he's not only the star of this movie, but he is the producer of this, so his name is all over this sucker, and yeah, it's a bad movie. It's a really, really terrible film. Avoid this one like the plague. Yeah, no. But Kino will be fine, though. He'll have not one, but two big new releases in 2019 that will make you forget that this movie even exists. So, there is that. So, but anyway, that is January 11, 2019. Let's get to the one big new release for January 18th, M. Night Shyamalan's long-awaited sequel to Unbreakable and Split. This is Glass.
I'll tell you a secret. I want to believe in real-life superheroes. Like every kid in the world. But I'm still waiting.
And yet, we exist.
Convince me.
Some of us don't die with bullets.
No way.
Some of us can bend steel. Are you ready to show the world what we are capable of? This won't be like a comic book. Rated PG-13.
So after nearly 20 years of waiting for that Unbreakable sequel, we finally got it. Again, sort of. It's not a full-on Unbreakable sequel, but it's complicated. This is a movie where, the hype was so strong after what had happened with, finally getting an Unbreakable sequel. But on top of that, you also get a sequel to one of M. Night Shyamalan, a movie that really saw M. Night Shyamalan coming back into full force with Split. And, he was just coming back with The Visit as well. And then this one kind of dipped down a little bit here. But unlike a lot of his bad movies, this one isn't terrible. It's very underwhelming. So you got Bruce Willis back as security guard David Dunn, who uses his supernatural abilities to track Kevin Wendell Crumb, played by James McAvoy, a disturbed man who has 24 personalities. And you also have Mr. Glass returning, played by Samuel L. Jackson, along with Sarah Paulson in here. And like I said, M. Night Shyamalan has certainly enjoyed a nice little renaissance in the last 4 years since this movie came out. Jason Blum handed him the ultimate life raft, and, he took advantage of it and brought him back to form with The Visit and Split, which set this whole thing up. And, you think you're going to get something really exciting out of this, and then the movie comes out, and, oh boy, man, this one dropped the ball big time. And like I said, it didn't bring M. Night back down to his worst stuff, like Lady in the Water, After Earth, Happening, Last Airbender, Devil, Signs, Levels of Bad, but it certainly isn't up to par with the last two films he's done. It's more of a disappointing mess of a film. Which, to be honest, the movie does have its good moments. I think the first 2/3 of the film are actually kind of good. Whenever Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, and James McAvoy on screen, they're the best parts about the movie. But even then, Samuel L. Jackson's barely in this movie. Like, he shows up in the third act more than in the past. Like, it's just kind of like the trailers make it seem like he's all over the movie, but no, he's not in this for much overall. And that really is kind of a letdown in general. Then the third act happens, and then just completely craters and falls apart. M. Night Shyamalan gets lazy with these twists and turns, stealing his own shit. Like, David Dunn's weakness is water. Like how the aliens in Signs' weakness is water. He's going to keep throwing this in there until we accept this as logical. Yeah, spoiler alert, it's never going to be logical. Stop trying to make water evil. Like the Trump administration could come out and literally say, water is evil, and you would still not be able to convince us. Even his loyal even the loyal people behind him would be like, okay, dude, you're going too far with this. But it also turns out that Jackson's character caused the crash from the first film that killed Kevin's father, so they can connect everything back together again. Those are just some of the biggest what-the-fuck twisted turns that Shyamalan tries to pull in this, and they're so ridiculously stupid. On top of that, it's hard for me to buy somebody serious like Samuel L. Jackson's character's mother, someone like Samuel L. Jackson, when his mother in the movie, played by Charlene Woodyard, is actually 5 years older, is 5 years younger than Jackson is. Like, Jackson's 70 years old. Charlene Woodyard is 65. So how is that supposed to work? Did she give birth to him when he was 5 years old? Did something really terrible happen to her when she was a young kid? Because that's what it really looks like here. And I know I'm going to get criticized for saying this, but I do not care. I really hated Sarah Paulson in this movie. I really do. She's just a one-note character whose only job is to be completely judgmental and just have this one look to her face throughout the same film. Like, it's the second movie in the past month I've seen in her where she gives no emotion, no depth to the character she plays, the other being Bird Box, and she's a badly written character here. I love Paulson. I think she's a great actress, but I'm sorry. She was completely miscast in this. In fact, even Anya Taylor-Joy in this was kind of one note, too. She wasn't as good as she was in this movie. In the original Split, I should say, but it's just, this movie should have been so much better, and it just wasn't. It's a movie where you see a return of M. Night Shyamalan going back to having too much more creative control, and it really backfires on him big time. And I think if he really should have had Jason Blum there, like he had with The Visit and Spirit, and Split, because those movies worked. It's slowly but surely seeing him returning that time period between 2002 and 2013 when we want to forget about him. There's still stuff in this movie I like, but the film loses a lot of its enjoyment factor once that third act begins. I was disappointed by this movie. I think it was a major letdown. It was not anywhere near as good as it should have been. You've waited nearly 20 years for an Unbreakable sequel, and this is the best you get? I mean, It's an end to what could have been an actual good trilogy that misfires badly on the third act. I was really let down by Glass overall. Just a major, major disappointment. Yeah, I was let down by it. And so with all that said, we wrap up another episode of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, we'll wrap January up with a couple of notable movies. One good, one definitely not so good. But one is a very underrated gem of a movie, The Kid Who Would Be King. We'll take a look at that. And then we'll take a look at one of those so bad it's good movies. Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway starring in the drama Serenity. Which, yeah, it's one of those movies that comes around every once in a while where you cannot believe they are getting away with this and they expect anyone to buy into this BS. It's that type of a film, so we will touch on that coming up on the next episode. That will be, of course, tomorrow. So with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care. Bye.